The trial was set to happen today so we could finally find out what's really going on, but turns out I jumped the gun on that one because some new court filings came out right after, and now I gotta break it all down again since things got pretty confusing. Dallas County never fails to surprise, because in Deon Maurice Brown's case, his trial has been pushed back again and again. Like Stephen A's hairline, the document I first showed was dated October 17, 2025, showing that the court approved a motion for continuance, which basically means the trial was delayed to allow more preparation. The next trial date was then set for April 10, 2025, but that never took place, so later that same year another continuance was filed and approved, pushing the pre-trial hearing to January 9, 2026, and the actual jury trial to February 2, 2026. Looks like the judge just keeps extending things over and over.
I'm gonna stop this at...
Both sides agreed to the delays, which means Devin Brown's murder and felony trials that were originally supposed to happen in mid-2025 have now been pushed to early 2026. But here's the catch: the case still isn't ready. The court notes literally say continuation case is set, not ready, meaning either the prosecution hasn't wrapped up discovery or the defense is still waiting on materials from the DA. That's pretty typical, and it's all connected to the co-defendants like Yellow Beezy and Cowan White, who have their own ongoing cases and legal motions to deal with too. Yellow Beezy even has a case scheduled on the exact same day, so how can they possibly hold two murder trials involving the same person in separate courtrooms at the same time? Even though the docket lists January and February 2026, the case clearly isn't anywhere near trial ready. Anyone who's watched these county murder cases knows they always move at a snail's pace, especially with multiple defendants. Every time one side isn't ready or another hearing gets delayed, the whole thing slows down again. The clerk marking not ready before the January pre-trial even happens already hints that another delay is on the way. So yeah, this one's probably going to drag out even longer, and that's no shock, because every time Dallas County sets a date, something always pops up. Maybe a witness disappears, maybe new evidence surfaces late, or a lawyer gets replaced and the new one needs time to catch up. It's a repeating pattern, and by the time the next court date arrives, it's the same story all over again. More motions, more continuances, more waiting. So even though the paperwork says early 2026, anyone following this knows that doesn't really mean anything. The case is still crawling through the system, and unless something big shifts soon, we'll be looking at yet another reset and another delay before it ever reaches trial.
I'm gonna stop this at...
The case is getting pushed back again, which means MO3 still isn't getting justice anytime soon. Honestly, I don't see any of these trials starting before summer 2026, maybe even later. I wouldn't be shocked if Yellow Beezy State ends up somewhere around October next year. Dallas County just keeps stacking murder trials like pancakes, thinking they'll move through them all, but big city courts move slow. That's just the truth people assume. If the feds grab you, you'll be in trial within a few months, and if not, you must be snitching. But that's not how it works. The system is overloaded. Too many cases, too many people. That's why justice crawls. Los Angeles Angeles, Dallas, New York, Houston, Atlanta all deal with the same issue, so don't expect MO3's case to wrap anytime soon. And for anyone claiming I dropped Yellow Beezy's location chill, that came straight from public court documents, not for me, it's right there in the filings. Anyway, here's the breakdown. The downside is these constant delays increase the chance of mistakes, evidence slipping through cracks, or witnesses backing out, which can weaken the prosecution side and give the defense time to dig through discovery, find inconsistencies, or reshape the story. That's how some cases fall apart over time. People realize later that something was missed. The upside, though, if you really want justice for MO3, this extra time helps prosecutors tighten things up, secure evidence, lock in witnesses, and cover every loose end. It also leaves room for any defendant who might decide to talk, though that doesn't happen often anymore, because even cooperation doesn't guarantee light sentences. Judges still have the final say, and they don't play around. Even if someone helps the state, a judge can still say, I understand, but a man died and someone innocent got hurt, so you're getting 40 years. That's likely what's coming when Boogey finally stands trial. That judge won't show mercy. When that day comes, I'll break it all down again. But just know that courtroom's going to be cold as ever. The truth is, the system behind closed doors is slow, messy, and political. Prosecutors, defense lawyers, and judges are juggling stacks of cases, and sometimes people sit for years before they even reach trial. It's not just about justice, it's about time, resources, and power shifts. Lawyers change, judges retire, witnesses disappear. So while people are right to say MO3 deserves justice, the process moves painfully slow. The defense keeps filing motions and asking for time. The state keeps trying to make the case airtight, and both sides benefit in their own ways. The defense gets space to build a strategy, and the prosecution gets room to strengthen its case. But for the families and fans, it just means more waiting and more frustration watching a system that doesn't move at your pace. That's why so many people lose faith in the courts and start leaning toward street justice, but that only feeds the same cycle that led to MO3's death. Everyone wants accountability, but real accountability takes time, evidence, and patience. It might feel endless, but when that trial finally comes, it's going to be raw, emotional, and chaotic. But it will come, and when it does, the truth, no matter how ugly, will have to face the light.
I'm gonna stop this at...
The trial was set to happen today, so we could finally find out what's really going on, but turns out I jumped the gun on that one because some new court filings came out right after, and now I gotta break it all down again since things got pretty confusing. Dallas County never fails to surprise, because in Deon Maurice Brown's case, his trial has been pushed back again and again. Like Stephen A's hairline, the document I first showed was dated October 17, 2025, showing that the court approved a motion for continuance, which basically means the trial was delayed to allow more preparation. The next trial date was then set for April 10, 2025, but that never took place. So later that same year, another continuance was filed and approved, pushing the pre-trial hearing to January 9, 2026, and the actual jury trial to February 2, 2026. Looks like the judge just keeps extending things over and over.
I'm gonna stop this at...